I was thinking about it as well. It's quite funny that I think about most people I've interviewed I've never met before, but I've met you, I think, 3 times. So if you look at it from a certain way, it's like I had to work really hard to get you to do this.
Okay, I hope it's worth it.
I'm sure it will be. You're the only person I've ever said goodbye to as you've ducked under a table. I'll give you that one.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was
MCM was a very
MCM.
funny one, yeah. Where you just go like, oh yeah, good to meet you, bye, and then ducks under a table. I just watched you do it. I think I was supposed to walk away and not spoil the magic, but I could not look as you just went straight under.
Yeah, that was an experience.
And you had to do that, I assume, for most people, right?
Well, I think I did it for literally everyone. Yeah. Because there was no gap at the table. So I mean, I didn't have to, I suppose, but I mean, it's nice to kind of, if you're having a photo taken, to actually be close to each other.
Agreed. Yeah, it's dedication to the craft.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for a very, very special interview, as our first one of 2026 is kicking off with a pretty big established name in the industry. It's been popping up in quite a few things you may have seen both in video games and in television. He's probably best known for playing Monoco in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, but you may have also heard him or seen him in LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, Marathon, Good Omens, Rivals. He's been getting around quite a bit. All very, very good things as well. You've had quite a good streak going here, I must say. But it is my absolute pleasure for our first interview guest to welcome the wonderful Rich Keeble. How are you doing, mate?
Well, hello. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you for that amazing intro. I wasn't sure you were talking about me at the start, and then you started listing things that I'd done. So I thought, yeah, you must be talking about me. How you doing?
I'm doing good, mate. It's really good to have you on. It's the first time for me I've interviewed someone after meeting them. Which is a strange one. I've met a few people after interviewing them. It's happening more and more at the minute, but never have I met someone and then ended up chatting to them more afterwards. So it's a different kind of vibe. But at least I have a little bit of an idea of maybe what to expect. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you just reminded me beforehand of at MCM London, where I was crawling in and out from underneath the table all the time.
It was just a very strange experience, I feel like, but it's how it was set up, wasn't it? Because like you said, there were no gaps between the tables. So if you came out to get a photo, it was very much, how do I get back? Under the table. Cool, got it.
Yeah, just in and out under the table. A lot of people were worried about my knees, I think, but luckily my knees are okay.
I was going to say, I'd be worried about them too. I think mine would have problems. So the fact you're doing okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
No, at my age as well. Yeah, so it was fine. It was fine.
Oh, good. Well, to start off with, a little bit of a simple kind of cookie-cutter intro, but I think always a good way to get started with these things. The simple question to you is, I want to know how you got into the acting industry. Because from what I can see, it was more on-screen acting to begin with, and voice acting came later, right? So how did it all come about for you?
Yeah, well, this is a question I get asked a lot these days, and I probably should work out a more efficient answer. But I didn't start getting into acting until I was about 30.
Okay.
Because even though I wanted to be an actor, I thought about being an actor when I was a kid, because I really liked sort of British comedy studio sitcoms, which are probably before your time, but things in the 80s and 90s like Blackadder and Bottom and
big fan of both of those.
Repeats of Dad's Army and things like that. But yeah, great shows, and I always fancied that. But I ended up, at one point, I wanted to be a stuntman, I think, when I was a child. Anyway, didn't do anything about that. But then, I fell into music. I was sort of playing in bands, and I thought that would be my thing. But I did this tour with a band, and it didn't really work out financially, and everyone hated one particular band member by the end of it. So I thought, well, I'll try and get into acting. And I actually started off doing like live comedy and a bit of sort of homemade online comedy as well. So I was doing bits of stand-up and sketch, and I'd sort of flirted with the idea of doing voiceovers, because people had said to me, oh, you should maybe do voiceovers because you've got a nice voice, or whatever people say. And I think I might have done a couple of corporate voiceovers for people at that point before I was acting. But I did a lot of door knocking and, just writing to people. And having done these live comedy things and live sketches, I managed to get myself into Lee Nelson's Well Good Show, which was a BBC Three sketch show back in about 2010, 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
And, used that in a reel, as well as some other stuff I'd made. Managed to get an agent, then got another agent, then managed to book some commercials, then managed to get a bit of TV. I did some stuff for Alan Carr used to do these New Year's Eve shows.
Yeah.
Summer Spectacular, and I did some sketches on those, as in I was in some sketches. The director of which actually was the director of the Emily Atack show a few years later, so he got me into that, and I've actually just recently done something with him as well. So again, sort of making connections.
Yeah.
And then I started doing some commercials. I did a McDonald's ad that was on quite a lot. Then I did my infamous Top Cashback ad that was on for years. And then around that time I got a voice agent in addition to my acting agent, and then managed to start doing proper voiceovers for TV and radio, and did more TV on camera, and then sort of got into games from then. So that was a little bit later. Yeah. But still about 10 years ago now. And again, I would just knock on doors, go and talk to developers, meet people, give my business card out, send my reel to people, and my agents were putting me up for stuff at the same time. And then it kind of goes, I don't know, then things sort of join together, and then a few years later, you're actually doing it a bit more regularly. Yeah. Well, hopefully, if you're lucky.
Fingers crossed, just kind of, putting your work out there. It's one of those things, like you said, the things you popped up on TV, and it's like, it's not like just kind of a deja vu kind of thing, almost like a Mandela effect. Genuinely, when I was looking at the actors in Expedition 33 and I saw your face, I was like, I know I've seen him in things. Like, I knew your face, like you popped up. Maybe it was like the Top Cashback ad when I was younger, because kids' channels used to have some strange advert choices, for one thing. It might have been that or anything else, but I knew I'd seen your face somewhere and I was trying to place it. So it must have been one or multiple of those things when I was younger, for sure.
Probably. I mean, both. I mean, that McDonald's advert was on only for a few weeks, but it was on all the time. Yeah. And then the Top Cashback advert, the original version was on for 2 years, and then we shot a new version which was on for 3 years. And I think TV has changed a lot in the last 20 years or whatever, but I think even in the last few years, people don't watch TV in the same way. You would see that advert all the time. Mm. And people would come up to me in the street about it. There was a few weeks where I would be in a restaurant or a cafe with my wife, or, and the waitress would come over and go, "Excuse me, are you the guy on the hippo in the advert?" I'd go, "Oh, yeah." Or I'd be paying for something and someone would go, "Sorry." And even at one point I was on the tube with my wife. So I think, this is before we had kids, actually. So I think just the two of us on a tube. Mm. And a bloke sat opposite, on the seats that kind of go up, where you put a pram or something. Yeah. It was like the seats you pull down. So we were sat opposite some bloke, and he got up and he said, "I'm really sorry to bother you, but are you the guy?" And it's like, that happened all the time. And then, as I say, they were on a lot. They were on during really big, high-profile TV shows. They paid me well every year when they renewed it. So,
first taste of real fame, I suppose, getting recognised for the Top Cashback ad.
It was, but it was a weird thing, because it's like no one knew what my name was. It wasn't like, oh, it's Rich Keeble who stars in that TV show. It was the Top Cashback man, or that bloke on the hippo, or to quote people online, that ugly ginger twat with Gollum teeth that I wish would fall in the river and get eaten by otters.
See, I was going to jump in and be like, that's a cool nickname, but then it got worse and worse and worse, and I don't want to say it anymore.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. So people would recognise me a lot, and I would go into castings and people would go, "Oh, hi, Rich. Oh, have we met?" And it because it was just on so much. But people didn't know who I was. So online, people would slag me off a lot. And I have posted about this recently. I did post on my Instagram that it was 10 years since the advert first aired. And I put the advert on, and I put a load of the mean tweets on top of it that people had written about me.
It's good you can look back and laugh at it now, at least. You have got that. But yeah, the
Well,
internet.
I mean, if I meet any of those people now, I'm still not over it, Troy. If I meet any of those people face to face now, I will murder them.
Do you want me to keep that on the record?
Please. I want people to know that, I still wish you hadn't written that about me. No, I mean, the thing is, I did used to kind of roll with it and just retweet them and mock them and sort of go, oh yeah, really? Oh, good news! It's been renewed for another year. Enjoy. But secretly, I was just like, oh God, I wish people wouldn't be so horrible about me. But they were far less horrible about me than they are about other demographics. So you just think, well, I get off lightly. Then they stopped during COVID, and then people just forgot about me very quickly. I remember searching, going, is anyone, rejoicing that the Top Cashback Man is no longer? And people just seemed to forget about me, which was fine. And then I started to get more TV work, I think, because maybe people didn't associate me quite so much with it.
Yeah, I mean, I laugh, but yeah, it's a horrid thing to have feedback like that. I've had a little bit of it in just doing YouTube for 10, 12 years. It is a horrid thing of just trying to kind of get on with it. And it is that thing of going, do you respond to it and like kind of playfully disarm it, or do you just kind of pretend it's not there? And it's always kind of like weighing that up and just going, I don't know. Do I want to be engaging with this? So I can imagine it wearing you down a little bit. But it's an interesting idea that maybe because the ad was on so often, maybe you weren't being cast in TV shows as much. Yeah,
I mean, people do see you. They do have a perception of you. And I imagine that there probably genuinely was someone who went, oh, well, we can't have that guy because he's a Top Cashback guy. Someone playing a serial killer or someone who's supposed to be sort of, I don't know, believable in some sort of dignified role if he's well known for sitting on a hippo.
Yeah, how am I going to believe he's a dangerous person? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, I talk about it. I've never shied away from it, but but a lot of people just don't remember it anymore. So it's not like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know, everyone knew that advert. I used to have a picture of it on my business card.
Really?
That was the way I would go, oh, hello, I'm an actor and I do this. And people would always go, ah, yes. Like everyone would know that advert. Whereas now it's sort of flipped and people don't remember it as much, which is fine. But it's just one of many things I've done. I mean, the trolling thing, it was actually a friend of mine that pointed it out to me at the time because no one knew my name. It wasn't like I was searching my name. He just he just wants, I think he just, can I swear on this? Can you?
Yeah, you're fine.
That annoying? I mean, I won't do it very often, but
someone did.
Good. He did search in Twitter for the words, I don't know, Top Cashback, bald and
oh no.
Cunt.
What? Sorry, did he was that his first instinct to search that, or did it take practice? Because if it was first instinct, I'd be asking him why he was thinking that.
I think he probably knew. What the public would be saying. And yeah, there was loads of it. It was reams of it, and I was just like, oh my God, I didn't know this was here. But it was good to kind of help me develop a thick skin, I think, because you know that somewhere. No matter how popular you are, some little twat is typing shit about you online.
Yeah.
And you just have to sort of ignore it. And I do ignore it now. Well, occasionally I do go, where have you been, mate? But like when I had I don't know whether we were going to get onto this or not, but when I had the Lord of the Rings Gollum sort of backlash of people complaining to me about the fact the game didn't work, that kind of was a different level. Because whereas the Top Cashback haters, sometimes they would actually apologise when I responded. They would go, "Oh God, I'm really sorry for saying that," But when I announced that I was in Gollum and people weren't very happy with the fact that the game didn't work very well, they would have a go at me, and then people would defend me in the whatever you call it in the Twitter thread, and then people would accuse the people defending me of being me. Using a different account.
Oh God!
And I would try and joke like I did in the Top Cashback days, and people would just get really nasty, and I just thought, all right, I'll step away from this now.
Yeah. I've had for me it was I used to do a lot of videos on the Payday series, and the community has its ups and its downs. But the big thing was whenever I was positive about certain aspects of the game, the amount of times I'd be called a shill for no reason, when it's just like No, I'm just sharing my thoughts. It's very easy to get reactionary opinions in any direction, and as you say, I think the gaming audience specifically, when you have those kind of people, it's not as easy to kind of disarm them with charm because they'll just kind of take it and run with it. Yeah, is what I've found that as well.
You also don't know if they're these days if they're just bots or what, or if it's some sort of AI thing anyway. You don't even know if you're interacting with a human. And, the Lord of the Rings, obviously an existing IP, people are going to have a strong opinion about how it's going to be, and if it's slightly different, even from when the gameplay sort of trailers, my character, because I played the Mouth of Sauron, people would go, why does he look like that? Because, of course, he looks nothing like he did in the film.
Yeah.
But they were deliberately not making people look like they were in the film for whatever reason. I'm just glad people don't hate Lego Batman because, again, if you're kind of leaning into something that's already out there and people have strong opinions, people are going to be very upset if it's slightly different.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to touch on Lego Batman a little bit because, I've been listening back to the clips on that, and what I will say is just, if I didn't know it was you doing Two-Face, I don't think I'd have picked it up on your voice. Your accent is incredible in it. Like, it sounds completely different to you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't hate it. It turned out all right.
Is that the best you can hope for when you look back at a performance? It was all right, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've sort of got over the initial. I used to cringe a lot when I used to hear myself or watch myself. Now I'm a bit more used to it. I can be a little bit more objective. But yeah, it was. I'm pretty happy with it, and it was really fun sessions. And I mean, that game has gone down really, really well, which I'm delighted for. The whole team, good for them.
Yeah, it's been really well received. It's been nice to see. So, you said about getting into voiceover work, 5-10 years later after you started acting. Was there a reason you moved to voiceover? Was it just because there was more work there, or was it did your agent suggest a new field? How did it come about?
Well, I just thought that it would be. I don't know. I thought that would be a thing I might be okay at.
Right.
Because of the way my voice sounds, and I can sort of do. Comedy things in different accents. I always thought that maybe voiceover would be, if I couldn't get any other work, maybe I could do that. Because, TV is hard to break into. I mean, I've been very lucky. I've been doing at least a couple of telly jobs every year. But, I didn't go to drama school, started late. There's all these sort of obstacles that might just be in your mind. But, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it'd be good. And I always wanted to kind of do characters because I also liked animation, growing up. Obviously people watch cartoons and, I used to love the Flintstones and all the other the Looney Tunes stuff. I just thought, something clicked and I just thought, what? Because I also do, audiobooks occasionally, not so much anymore.
Right.
But I just thought, it's just, I guess I was thinking also, well, firstly, games are cool and, you can play all these different characters. But also, you've really got to diversify in this business if you want to be able to do it. Because, I don't come from a rich background or even an acting. No one in my family has ever done this before. I just kind of thought, well, I need to have my fingers in various pies to make money to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And funny enough, so when I was getting more into voiceovers and doing more audiobooks and things, I was still working full time as well in my old job. And my hand was sort of forced that I had to resign from that job.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I've got more time to do marketing. I can do a lot more corporate voiceovers. I can do this. I can do this. So, in a way, voiceover has always been, or voice acting has always been my sort of safety thing, I suppose. That's not to, discredit it or devalue it. It's just always been something that I thought, I think I can do all right at this if I work hard and get myself out there. But at the same time, I was always writing to casting directors for TV and, and updating my reel whenever possible and trying to keep in touch with directors I work with and, all this stuff. So, yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel as though, as you were going between voiceover and live action acting, do you feel like either of them informed your performances, across different projects, like something you picked up in TV helped you in voiceover or vice versa?
I think so. I think they've both given me more confidence overall. Yeah, I think just the more you do anything, the better you get at it. And I think being on a TV set where, like Rivals, for example, or Good Omens as well, where you're surrounded by famous people.
Right.
That is a great learning experience. Because obviously, when you're doing voice acting in video games, you're often on your own in the booth, and you're there with the director and various team members, and you might have lines being fed into you. But when you're actually on set and interacting with people, in real life,
yeah,
I think that really does help improve your acting and your technique, which you can then bring into the booth.
Okay.
And I think the disciplines of being the booth, help when you're on set as well. I mean, I think when I was doing Rivals Season 2, I was a bit more relaxed than I was during Season 1. And I think I was allowing myself to enjoy it a lot more and feeling a bit less imposter syndrome-y. I mean, still obviously riddled with self-doubt and anxiety. But I kind of relaxed into it more because I now had a bit more success in the video game world. So I don't know, I kind of felt like, well, maybe I'm not doing too bad,
That's going to be an interesting one, yeah. Like when you're on the set of like Rival Season 2, which I'm going to have to try very hard not to just spend half an hour talking to you about because I adore that show. I think it's one of the best things on TV at the minute, to be honest.
Great show, yeah. Did
you have people on set who knew you'd had like your successes in Expedition 33, etc., who were talking to you about it, or did they kind of go, "What have you been up to?" And you were like, "I've been in this game that's it's done pretty good."
Yeah, well, I mean, the beauty of that show, because it's a massive cast,
huge.
You obviously, the focus on David and Aidan and Alex and Catherine and but there's like 50 cast members, before you start filling out scenes with like 100 essays on top. But the good thing, I would often be in with Gary, Lara and Bryony and David actually on a lot of my scenes up in the gallery.
Yes.
So for those who don't know, I work as I play the director at Corinium, which is David Tennant's TV production company. So I would do a lot of my scenes up there. But yeah, I would also interact with other actors from time to time. I mean, I met Danny and Rufus and the rest on other big scenes in Series 1. But yeah, I mean, we would just talk about it. I mean, yeah, no one knows who I am. But I worked with David before. I'd done Good Omens with him before Rivals. I'd worked with Emily Atack on her show a few times with that director I mentioned I'd done the Alan Carr stuff with. Tommy Forbes is his name. I'd worked with Oliver Chris before. I did an episode of Trying that he was in. So, some people did know who I was already because I'd worked with them. And then, things come up in conversation. I mean, I remember talking about Gollum at the time on the first series, because I think that had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
I remember talking to David about that and some other people when we were just off, off to one side.
Yeah.
And then, Expedition came up, a few times, I think, in Series 2, because it was a big thing. And of course, because I got longlisted for a BAFTA.
Yeah, which congrats on that, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. But, they're all so supportive, that cast. Like, I mean, at one, because everyone knew about that, at one point, I'm talking, hanging out with Danny Dyer and David Tennant and all that, and, Danny will just kind of go, well, he's up for a BAFTA, talking about me, so... It's nice, yeah. I mean, they're a good bunch of people.
It's a really strong cast, yeah. A lot of really lovely people in that. Yeah, it's such a great show. Honestly, I absolutely adore it. I'm very sad that it got split into two parts the second season because especially how the last one ended. I won't go into spoilers. People need to watch it, but yeah, it's an incredible show, and it is just always funny. It's kind of like almost like a played out thing, but it's like the Leonardo pointing me. And every time that you popped up on screen, I was like, there he is again. There he is. Just every time. And yeah, I think you I can see what you're saying about, especially in season 2. There's a few more times, like in the booth, you're like having a big grin with like David or whatever it is. Like I feel like I'm seeing you more in season 2. I don't know if that's just like placebo effect or what, but I felt like I've seen you a bit more, maybe.
Yeah, well, I am in it more.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely, I spent a lot more time on it in season 2, which was great. Yeah, I did a lot more weeks in it than series 1, and I am in, I think, nearly every episode of this series.
Yeah.
I think I was only not in episode 6.
Fairly sure, yeah. I think that was the only one you weren't in.
Of this series, and there's quite a lot going on in episode 6. So
yeah,
you don't really need me going cut to camera 2.
I'm imagining inserting that in now and how that would change the tension.
Sorry, cut to camera 2.
Yeah, cut to the Banningham house.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm in all the second half of it as well because they just put me in more scenes. I mean, to be fair to them, they did actually try and give me some more fun stuff to do, which got cut. Those scripts would change a lot.
Okay.
More so than I've ever seen on a TV show. But I mean, obviously worked for them because it turned out so great. But yeah, I would stop reading the scripts and because I knew that it would change. I would stop reading them until a bit closer to my when I was in for that reason. But yeah. Sometimes you'd see because we had 2 read-throughs for series 2. We had a part 1 and a part 2, and I remember at both of them I was just like, oh, got a fun little bit there for Brian. And then by the time you come to shoot, it's been cut, sadly. But it's just, and then they'd insert more stuff in, which then might get cut. And they tried to do stuff, but the trouble is, there's so many cast on there. I mean, in the second half of this, I did sort of improvise. I did make some choices that they quite liked, so we'll see if those stay in. I did some stuff that they thought was quite funny. Let's see if that's in there. But yeah, it was. I was definitely in more. Yeah, I was probably in more than twice as much, and yeah, I've ended up in more locations.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, so, which is cool. Yeah.
Do you tend to watch your own work back then? 'Cause you said about seeing if things get cut. Are you someone who tends to watch like your shows or play your games that you've been in, or do you try and avoid it?
Well, I do, just so that I know what the final product is. Really.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
I don't think anyone. It's funny at the screenings of these big things, you'll see people like Denise Black and Oliver Chris, who, been on TV forever. And they're all kind of squirming at watching themselves. And it's really interesting. I just watch it just to make sure I'm not terrible, really. And to make sure that I'm actually in it. Because I've done things, I've been cut from things and I've had scenes cut.
Right.
So you just want to check that you're actually in it before you get everyone to sit down and go, here we go, here's my episode, and then you're not in it. So, yeah, I do watch it. And the thing with the games, I mean, I perhaps famously don't play games because I don't really have time, but I do watch everything. I do watch all the footage. Okay. And, similarly, I do that just to check that it's okay, that I don't mind talking about it. And also to have the footage because, obviously one needs to, when you're my level, you need a show reel and you need stuff to show people. So I do watch it and I don't cringe too much at myself these days. I've got more used to it.
Well, I say I want you to teach me. I've done very, very little acting. I did a Doctor Who fan film thing last year. It came out Christmas, and I'm quite proud of it. Don't get me wrong; I think it turned out well. But genuinely, I was so stressed and cringed about it watching it as it was going out on Christmas Eve. I gave myself a headache that didn't go for about 4 hours because I was just cringing. I don't know if I can watch this. And my mum, bless her, who's so lovely about it, she was like, "No, watch it; it'll be fine." So she had me sitting, made sure I was sat next the whole time watching it. Just in a ball, just could not really look properly, peering between my fingers. I need to not be able to do that, so I might ask you to teach me to not care, or at least not to cringe, I should say.
I think it just, I'm sure you were fine. It's just, we're our own worst critics, aren't we?
Absolutely.
It just takes experience. I think it just takes experience. But even David Tennant and Danny Dyer, I think they're pretty critical about what they do. But I think that's a good thing. If you think that you're amazing at everything, then you're probably not.
True. Yeah. Fair.
I think it just takes experience. But yeah, even some of the actors on that show, they'll be like, I don't like watching this. It's you enjoy doing it, but you don't necessarily like watching it back, which I can get. Which is why a lot of people like doing theatre.
True,
it's the stuff in the moment that, you're enjoying, the connection and doing the work, but, you don't necessarily like looking back at yourself.
Yeah, theatre's good for that. Yeah, good point.
But yeah, it's just part of it, isn't it, I suppose?
Well, let's get into the big one. Let's get into the big section, the big discussion. Obviously, got to talk about Expedition 33 a little bit, but want to kind of talk about it more, obviously, in hindsight, because it's crazy to think the game is over a year old already, how fast that's gone by. it must be quite like a whirlwind for you with how everything's gone in the last 12 months. I mean, it's had the most Game of the Year awards ever. It's already had like a sellout concert tour. Like the things it's pulled off in the last 12 months, it's kind of crazy to think. But I think a good point to start is, and it's a conversation you've mentioned before, I've heard, is that you had a bit of a chat with Ben Starr, I believe it was, about like what he thought, how he thought this game would do, and setting some like expectation levels. I just thought it'd be good to start by reflecting on that. So can you, for those who haven't heard, can you remind what the conversation was and where it ended up leading up to?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's probably sick of hearing this. I mean, I'm not.
Sorry, Ben, if you're listening.
If he's watching this, he probably avoids everything I'm in because he's sick of hearing this story. But yeah, I mean, I've said a few times. So when the game was, because the thing is, you never know how well a game is going to do. You know, we all knew that it felt like a good game when we were doing it. It was a good vibe. You know, Kepler, the publisher, seemed confident that it was going to do well. But you never know. You never know. So when they started, I mean, Kepler, this was quite unusual, but also very beneficial for everyone. You know, they drip fed all these different trailers. If you remember, there was the release, release, and then the cast announcements, and then we all had our own trailers. You know, I think there was one where Monoco was introduced, and then Monoco had his own trailer. So there was all this build up, and they were all getting really good views. You know, big views, and you know, the comments were full of enthusiasm for it. And I started to get a bit nervous that it was, this could be a big thing. Because remember, you know, so this is 2025, and, you know, I had all the Gollum stuff 2 years before, and I'd kind of kept myself a bit away from social media a little bit, because I didn't really do much. There was a period after Gollum that I didn't do a game for ages. I would always do games sort of on the side of whatever else I was doing, but I did have a noticeable gap. So suddenly I'm in a game again, which is going all right, and it looks all right. So, yeah, I did message Ben, and I said, can we meet up for a coffee? And we ended up having a sort of a brunch near sort of Shoreditch area. And he did say to me a few things, which were basically like, you know, I think the turn-based thing will, you know, a lot of people will be turned on to that who remember that style of gameplay. People will like it for various reasons, but there are a few things that are maybe a bit rough around the edges. I also had a conversation with Jack from Kepler, so I might be conflating both conversations here.
Okay.
But there was something about, it'll do well, but it's not a AAA studio. There will be stuff that's a bit rough around the edges that might bring the score down. So, but both guys said, probably Metacritic 80s. It'll do well. But I do remember Ben saying to me, I just want to manage your expectations. You know, because I think maybe I was thinking, is this going to be like a Baldur's Gate type thing? And I think he might have said, probably not. But then when the reviews came out, when I think I was actually in the Rivals table read, actually, I think when the review embargo lifted, and just scrolling through my phone, seeing all these 9s and 10s, and Metacritic 92 or 93 or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, Gollum, this isn't. You know, with Gollum, I was scrolling through and seeing 1s and 2s and the occasional 0. It was my jaw also dropped, but in a different way. And then really it's just gone from there. You know, I mean, that was a real relief that seeing those reviews were so good. But it was only when we started to do stuff like go to IGN Live in LA, you know, and people were kind of asking us to sign things, and people were really enthusiastic about the game already. It was like, this is doing all right. And, you know, now here we are, June 2026. People are still discovering it and saying it's their game of the decade. People have played it several times. People are getting tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said before, you know, you can see all the, you know, people give me stuff.
I love the posters, on your wall. They're so good. It's so lovely. It's a fab thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
I think it's kind of, it is a bit of a shock because, as you said, it's kind of that question of, you know, is it like another Baldur's Gate? I'm just looking at my camera and it's gone so bright. The sun is betraying me right now. No, that feeling of, you know, could it be another Baldur's Gate? Because when that came out, it was one of those things where, like, there were so many other games that didn't get rewards and recognition because Baldur's Gate was, as I've described it on streams, it's like, you know, it's a game that comes along that is just that little bit above, and it doesn't undervalue the games, but because it's just that little bit better, it's like, this is the one that's kind of the industry darling that everyone loves. To have another one of those only 2 years later is such an insane thing to have happen. But it, again, in all the same ways, it's like in the ways it stood out from its soundtracks, performances, the story, it's such an incredible little piece of work. It's little, sounds like I'm understating it at this point, but it's so incredibly done. And by the size of the studio as well and how it's put together, it's a wonder that it came to be the way that it did. But the response, yeah, I mean, how's that been for you? So as I said, I mean, you know, it's had all these Game of the Year awards. It's had this big concert tour, which I saw you at the one in London, which was an incredible night. Like, seeing this kind of stratospheric success for the game, what's that been like from your perspective?
Well, it's been, wonderful. It's been the gift that keeps on giving, really. And I never grow tired of it. You know, I still, you know, I'm signing quotes for people and I'm just saying, oh, which quote would you like? And I'm reading out all the Monoco quotes and we're talking about the game and the endings and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I never grow tired of it. And yeah, just like being able to be absorbed into that whole thing, like the concert. I mean, the concert that we bumped into each other, you know, I got up on stage, didn't I, at the end of the Monoco theme. And it's just, it's fun being able to just be a part of this wonderful thing. And it's funny because, I mean, obviously we did dominate those award shows as well. And you know, you do almost feel a bit bad, like funnily enough, on Rivals, going back to that, when I came back, so this must have been before the Golden Joysticks,
right?
Whenever what were they, November, December?
I think so, yeah, about November.
Yeah, so I was on set around that time, and you know, we'd had a few months of Expedition sort of kicking off. And there was an essay, I think her name's Maria, and this girl who, she'd be up in the gallery with me a lot of the time. They'd place her and they'd say, oh, on action, can you come and like put a cup of coffee in front of me or something, and then walk out. She was quite upset with me over the fact that Expedition was likely to get Game of the Year because she was a fan of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Right, okay. And she was like, oh, that's a better game, you know, but I think your game's going to win it. And I was like...
to say that's a better game as well, not just that's my favourite. It's like, that one's better and yours is going to win.
Well, yeah, but, you know, she was a massive fan of that game. And at the time, I think by then I'd met Tom McKay, and I was like, oh, you know...
Sorry.
Got someone who was quite upset about, I think your game's better than mine or whatever. And he replied to say, well, your game's obviously going to win or something. I was just like, well, I don't know. But yeah, it was all good fun. But yeah, funnily enough, then of course we did obviously win, or, you know, win everything. Yeah. And, but unfortunately I never saw her again. She didn't come back. She was on another job or something.
She quit. It's just like, I can't be near him again.
I had her sacked. Because... Firstly, how dare she speak to me in the first place? I know. This is gaming royalty now, Mr. Monoco himself. You cannot insult him about other and say other games are better. It's disgraceful. You can't do that. But also, SA's talking to cast on set. How dare they? Honestly, disgraceful. And with an opinion that isn't the right one. The thing I'm going to enjoy here is the people who don't pick up on the British sarcasm here and how we're both feeding into it and just going, these guys are arseholes. Oh god. Yeah, it's just it's, and especially as you said, comparing it to like Gollum, like the difference in reception has got to almost kind of like knock your head off a little bit of just like one extreme to the other is such a crazy difference. Yeah, I mean, another story I keep telling is I've known Dave Jones for many years, who plays Halcyon in Baldur's Gate, and we were messaging over, because, you know, Baldur's Gate was about to come out, and it had done really well in early access and everything else, and, you know, he was excited about that, and of course, he was like, oh, I think my game's going to do all right, and I was like, well, I'm in a Lord of the Rings game. I think you'll find, so I think we're both going to be all right, and, well, obviously things changed, but yeah, from Gollum to Expedition in 2 years, is quite something. But yeah, you just never know, do you? You never know. I mean, also, Expedition, you know, it's very different from Baldur's Gate. You know, we're obviously a much more linear narrative. Yeah. There's much less gameplay available. You know, they're very different games, but a lot of people do seem to really like both. Yeah, the two of them are my two favourite games I've ever played. And like, I'm glad I can say it with confidence now. It's like hyperbole or anything, like, because there is a bit of recency bias sometimes when I'm like that. I'm very much
I tend to be more positive about things than a lot of people, or enjoy things that people don't. You know, you won't hear me, saying I think The Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie. That's the kind of optimism I operate at. So there is kind of a thing of me going like, maybe it's recency bias, but I'll look back, I'm like, no, these two, there's something special about both of those games in their own ways that are just, just so unique. But it's also it's interesting for you because I do want to talk obviously a bit about the voice work, but I feel like obviously you've answered a lot about Monoco already, so I thought it might be more fun is to focus on the fact that you did so many voices in the game. You didn't just do Monoco. To rattle some off, you were the voice of the legendary Expedition 60. The iconic trash can man, which I only realised yesterday. I looked again in your Instagram bio. You used to have a bin emoji to say you voiced that character, which I think is hilarious. Simon as well. Are there particular elements of different characters that you really enjoyed or stood out to you? Or like characters that you preferred voicing or that you enjoyed more compared to Monoco? Or, just things that stand out that may be a little bit different to what you're often asked about, I should say.
Well, I mean, Monoco does win hands down because there was just so much,
understandably,
so much to him.
Great character.
But looking back, I mean, I had a really fun session doing Francois.
Yes.
All those, because I did Simon's journal is obviously quite, not funny.
No.
But the Mushroom Journal 66 and the Naked Muscle Journal 60. They were really fun to do. I do listen back to those and I kind of think, I wish maybe I could have done that better. But we did those things. I suppose we did everything so quickly and so kind of naturally.
Right.
Everything was just fun. I kind of think of it as this whole thing. It's like, rather than individual character sessions, because it was all kind of jotted about. So I would come in one week and I would do Monoco, and they'd go, can you do a bit of this? It's a journal. Okay. And then I come back and they'd get me to do another character, and then we do some more Monoco, and then I come back again and it would be a bit of Monoco and another character. And, it was all just kind of intertwined with itself, really. And because we were working so quickly as well, it's like, what's this? What's this trash can man? Yeah. It's a guy, he's just a guy hiding in a trash can. Or bin, as we would say in the
True.
UK.
Yes.
They wouldn't, I campaigned to change it, but they wouldn't. It was just, I didn't, I had no understanding of where he would actually be. It was just, he's a guy hiding in a trash can. So, okay, I'll do this voice. Okay. And then, Nicholas the Painter in the prologue. He's just a slightly pretentious sounding painter. How about this? Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. And it's only when you see the game afterwards that you realise the context.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this in many interviews, there's 4 characters in the prologue who are like right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like Trash Can Man, Nicholas the Painter, Maxine the Drunk, and then Florian, this sort of weirdo.
Yes.
They're all, I remember seeing a streamer go from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 and me just going, oh my God, they all sound like me, and they're all next to each other. I'd recorded them months apart and didn't know they're all next to each other.
I think they do. Some of them sound different, like in some ways. Isn't that like Maxine the Painter sounds like different to say Trash Can Man? I don't think I realised immediately Maxine was you. To be fair, maybe that's just me, but I don't think I clocked that immediately. But yeah, I noticed some voices, like Ben Starr. I think voices one of the Expeditioners in the prologue in the opening section. I don't even know if he's credited for it. So I remember trying to look it up and I couldn't see it. But sometimes you hear a voice, you just go, okay, I know exactly who that is. Like, I'm a nightmare for that. When Tides of Annihilation's first trailer came out, one line of dialogue straight away on stream went, that's Jennifer English. Like, I'm terrible with, well, let's say terrible. It's not to say a bad thing, but I'll pick up a voice really quickly. I didn't actually immediately think that the painter sounded like anyone else had heard. So I'll give you that. Maybe they didn't all sound identical.
Well, to be fair, I guess it's because I was doing it in my sort of normal voice.
Yeah.
As opposed to my, other voices that I would do.
Oh, we got a bit of it. There we go. Clip it.
Okay, bye. It was, because it was in my normal sort of speaking voice, I just thought, oh God, it just sounds like me. But they were very different characters, which is why no one really picked up it was all me. But that comes down to the writing,
Yeah.
So no one actually did pick up they were all me, but then, nobody knew who I was at the time, so I don't know.
That's fair.
But I'm really pleased how the Mask Keeper turned out. I'm really pleased how that Trash Can Man I think is really fun. I think the Simon stuff is cool. Francois was cool. I think it's Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, some of it I maybe wish I could have had another go at, but, it is what it is.
Perfectionism, eh?
Yeah, I guess so. Or just hyper self-criticism.
Yeah, that too. But no, that was the thing I wondered, as you said, about it being sprinkled in between. I did wonder if you kind of be going from, I just wanted to show off, to they mocked us for our bodies. Like, the transition between them has got to be a little bit strange sometimes, of like maybe doing a big emotional thing for Monoco, because there are some quite good emotional scenes, I think, for his character, which I don't think is something I particularly expected for a gestural, I think, going into it. But like you have some very emotional things, and as you said, things that are very much not emotional at all and are just played entirely for laughs, and the transition between them has got to be at least interesting for an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I think why Monoco has, people like him so much is, he is funny, but he's not just a one-dimensional sort of comic character. He does have all this depth. But yeah, I think it was really fun just to do loads of different characters, loads of different voices, and that just kind of came about because we just got on and had a laugh in the studio, and I was just sort of doing silly voices in between, in breaks and stuff like that. I think that was it. I would just do some voices, and they'd be like, "Oh, can you try this? Can you try this?" So that's why I ended up doing so many.
Okay. That's perfect for another character we're thinking of.
Yeah, I think, because people have asked me this recently, did you audition for any other characters apart from Monoco? And I was just like, well, no, they just ended up giving them to me. Because I would just be, I'm a professional, obviously.
Absolutely.
But, because Jen and Guillaume and Joe and everyone was up for a laugh as well, and it was a fun time. And we'd met because we'd been to dinner before we started. They kind of took us out, which is very unusual. But we'd met the team before we started, so it was a bit more relaxed. And I met Ben and Kirsty at that dinner.
Okay.
So when I was doing my scenes with Ben, being played in, it just it was useful having actually met the guy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times you wouldn't. Anyway. Because we would have fun, and I would just, I don't know, we'd finish and be like, okay, that's that chunk, shall we have a break? And I don't know, I'd just be saying, oh, okay, was that all right? Okay, thank you very much. Was that all right? I don't know, just do some silly voices. And they were like, oh, can you do accent? Can you do this, that, and the other? Yes. So it would just become,
oh, okay.
How about you try this? How about you try this? And they generally liked what I was doing, and, I guess my sort of background in comedy, I don't know, allowed me to approach things in a certain way, and just kept giving me more and more. And of course, there was another couple of characters I did, which one was, I can't remember it at all, and it was cut. But then I did a voice for Golgra as well, which they ended up redoing,
right,
purely so that Golgra would talk like the other Gestrels, and Monoco would be the only English-speaking Gestral.
Right, gotcha. I suppose it also would have been a bit strange for Monoco and Golgra to have conversations and then be the same voice coming out.
Well, it would, but at the time we thought that was really funny.
True, actually, that would have been.
Because, we thought that was a fun little thing. Because the Mask Keeper is talking to people. Monoco is there when the Mask Keeper, and obviously with Simon is talking battle. But there were moments where I'm sort of there with myself. But the Golgra voice I did, because I'd sort of, I don't know, I tried all sorts of different things, and I thought it'd be funny to do Golgra like in a voice like that. So we did it. So it was like, Golgra, I demand a trial by combat, or whatever. And, she'd be like, I was hoping you'd say that, Monoco.
Oh, now you've said that, I really want to hear that in the game. It
was just, it was really funny, we were all pissing ourselves. But it was Jen Yen messaged me and said, oh, we did recast Golgra. And I was like, what the fuck, Jen?
That was my most inspired work.
But, the reasons are justified, because, Monoco should be the only English-speaking Gestrel.
I think that plays into Monoco's character quite well. Yeah, I do. I get it. I think, you've brought me round on wanting to see the other version, but I can also see why they stuck with what they went with. So... two very strong ideas fighting it out. Do love a good duel. Yeah. But I mean, I think also then that must have hopefully had a bit of an impact on you going into Lego Batman. Because as you said, after Gollum, you kind of had a bit of a break from games, understandably, given the reception of it, if nothing else, whether it was work or otherwise. But then obviously, big hit with Expedition 33 opens the doors back up again. To you, even, I was assuming personally for gaming roles, but I'm also assuming, maybe people more reaching out to you because you're an established name. Like, What was it like transitioning into another established franchise now, doing voice work for that, given coming off of both Gollum and then also Expedition 33? What was that like going into Two-Face?
Well, the good thing about Two-Face is that, yeah, by the time I got that job, I had done a few more games as well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know why I had a gap after Gollum. I just wasn't getting auditions through, or I wasn't booking them. I don't know.
So it wasn't, I was going to say, it wasn't an intentional detox then?
No, it wasn't conscious. And, it's not like if you're on a TV show that bombs and you kind of don't work for a while. I mean, I remember Jason Isaacs famously talked about, he was he playing Captain Hook in a film, wasn't he, years ago, and it kind of bombed, and then he was saying he couldn't work for like 2 years afterwards.
Yeah.
So, it's not so much like that in games, I don't think, but it was just the way it was. But before Expedition, so for those who don't know, a lot of the recording stuff in the UK is done in studios, which is outsourced from the developers. So we recorded at Side, we did Expedition 33 there. You've also got Pit Stop that did Baldur's Gate. Then you've got Molyneux, Liquid Violet, OMUK, where I did Gollum. So I did a game at Side, New World Eternum, which is that shut down now? I don't know. And I was playing a character in that who sort of talked like that. Sort of rough, sort of mercenary character. Well, that's how I did him anyway.
I feel intimidated already.
I did that, and then I think maybe that got me on their radar as someone who could do those sort of voices. And then so the Monoco audition came through because they wanted, a big, deep, booming voice was the direction on that. But then, so that kind of, so maybe I wasn't on Side's radar quite so much. I might have done a couple of games with them over the last few years, but not really much. So I did New World Eternum, then I did Expedition, and then because I was doing all the different voices and because the team were lovely, I remember them. I think it was maybe Jo Green, who's the voice director at Side. She said, "How come we haven't seen much of you, Rich?" And I was just like, "Well, I don't know."
That's a lovely thing to say as well, because that's almost like a "you're so good, we should have had you here more" kind of thing. That's got to be a nice little boost for you.
Yeah, it was really nice, and. So that they basically put my name around, that they sort of spread my name around. I think it was also, it was Joe, I think it was Rob, who's one of the engineers.
Right.
He was sort of telling people about me, and then, Guillaume and Jen, and Victoria, who cast it originally as well. I think she was quite big in doing that. So suddenly I think I was on a lot more lists.
Right.
So even before Expedition came out, I was starting to get loads more auditions through Side. So that's how I actually got Wuthering Waves, because, my character in that, Fenrico, that came out before Expedition, but I did it after Expedition.
Right, okay.
Also, my little role in Ken and, Mouse P.I. and King of Meat, which has sadly been and gone.
Crazy
a lot
name
of
as well.
on that.
That always makes me laugh reading that.
Sad what happened to that game, actually.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was pretty good, and we had a lot of fun in those sessions. Again, it was like another sort of fun character. It was Keith Vertex, who's the leader of the Bone Pickers Association. That was really, really fun. And so I was just suddenly doing a lot more. And then when Expedition came out, I would get invited to audition for other things as well. In other studios I hadn't worked in. So I've worked on a few other big games since then, thanks to Expedition. But so the Batman audition came through whenever it was. After... so they knew who I was by then, and I don't think I would have necessarily got the audition before. I don't know, but they just got audition for Two-Face, Harvey Dent, and I sort of they sent me a reference. It was literally the scene from Batman Forever where Tommy Lee Jones is starts and he's flipping the coin with that security guard, and that was the reference. They didn't send me a reference for Harvey Dent, and of course I didn't really know much about what was going on. I mean, it didn't even say it was Batman, it's pretty obvious it's some sort of Batman. It didn't say it was Lego Batman specifically.
Okay.
And actually, maybe now I remember that, maybe that's why I did sort of struggle a bit to know what the tone was. But so I did an audition for Harvey Dent and Two-Face. They liked the Two-Face, but they asked me if I could do the Harvey Dent again, like to maybe making more of a contrast from Two-Face, which I did and they liked, and then then they gave it to me. But again, I think it was just, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time to do these things, you don't know much about the project. I think in my mind, they said the reference is Tommy Lee Jones. Okay. But I mean, he doesn't play Harvey Dent in that film, apart from that flashback.
Yeah.
So maybe I did it a bit too like Tommy Lee Jones. But anyway, when they came back and did it again, I sort of watched a bit more of Aaron Eckhart and Billy and some of the animation stuff. I watched some stuff from, the Long Halloween?
Yes.
And I sort of... that's how I informed my Harvey Dent. And then on the day when we were recording, I did actually try and grit my Two-Face up a bit and not make him too sort of Tommy Lee Jones flamboyant, and sort of make him a bit more gritty, I think, like most other interpretations of Two-Face. Yeah. But also being aware that it's a Lego game.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, Lego games, they kind of have a very unique tone in that sense, wherein, they want you to at least be absorbed into where they're going with it, but also know that at any single point something could happen, even visually, that's going to make you start laughing, but then also still have to try to bring you back into it. It's finding a balance. It's got to be quite hard character-wise, because you don't want to go too slapstick, but you also have to remember that obviously a lot of people playing it are going to be younger, so you want it to have enough in there that it's a balance. It's a balance. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that the difficulty that I had with the Lego Batman was because, I wasn't in the inner circle in a way that I was in Expedition. I didn't really know... It was difficult to know what was actually new and what was derived from some sort of Batman canon. Because, they were pulling in... I mean, the beauty of that game, but also... The thing that makes it hard is that they're pulling in from 80 years of, like the comics and the animated series and everything. I mean, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't done it yet, but, the Lego Batman, the Harvey Dent, the Two-Face origin story in Lego Batman is...
fantastic.
Amazing, I think,
so I will say I haven't unfortunately played the game yet. I just haven't had time to, but I made sure to watch all the kind of Two-Face stuff. Watched a few kind of clips and things, because I need to obviously make sure I know how you've played it to comment on it. But yeah, in the process of watching it, the way in which Two-Face is born, I couldn't stop laughing. So I'm like, it's a really good way to do it, because obviously it's a Lego game. It's quite a dark, real origin story, and you can't really show that as much in Lego, for a myriad of reasons. But the way in which they went about it, I thought was a very, very cool touch.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really funny, but also brutal.
Yeah.
But I think at the time it was unclear to me exactly what was happening, because I don't think they even said, "Oh yeah, this is the Two-Face origin story." I think it was literally some of the lines were, key lime right in the eye.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
what's happening here?
What is this? Yeah, and then it would just be like, okay, so now can you do some screams?
There you go. Oh, so is this? Oh, right, okay.
And then, I think it might have been Danny, the director. Can you do a little girl sort of actual high pitched scream, which is what I did, and then some sounds of him being electrocuted. Oh, okay, but it makes sense now. But it's like. So doing all these noises and a few now you've just been hit in the face with a door. Okay,
really goes through the ringer, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. And we would have done it in a different session as well, I think. So yeah, again, it was just I wasn't 100% sure what was going on, but they directed me well, and it worked out really well, and it's turned out really funny.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah, it honestly did. It turned out very, very well.
Of course, that had another level of anxiety because, of course, I'm doing an accent as well. So it's just oh God, does this sound all right?
It was really good, genuinely. That's like I said, if I didn't know it was you, I would not have had a clue that was you playing, because I was listening to the voice going, this is Rich. I was like, and that sounds like I'm saying I didn't think you could do an accent, but you know what I mean? It was completely different to anything I've heard of you already, and I was like, this is really good. It's a really good, convincing accent, I think, personally, anyway.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I a lot of, people do recognise me in things, but a lot of people didn't pick up on that, and because they showed the villains sort of trailer at the Game Awards when I was there.
Yes.
In LA back in December, and I was just thinking, oh God, yeah, so and Two-Face is quite prominent in that, But yeah, I didn't get hordes of people going, is that you in that? Because, and even then I would send it to people and they go,
Who
Are you sure
playing?
that's you?
Yeah. Where was I meant to be listening to you there?
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, honestly. And then they'd hear a bit more of it, and then they'd maybe realise it was me a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's a voice I haven't done prominently before, a big sort of American accent thing. But yeah.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Yeah. Right, heading towards the end of my questions, and we'll get into some audience ones shortly for a little bit. But there's one big question that I'm really interested to dive into with you, and it's one that I've been thinking about a lot in the last year or so, and it's the idea of voice actors becoming more known for who they are rather than the roles they play. Because I don't know about you, but at least when I've talked about, or other people have talked about, like voiceover characters, video game characters, cartoons, like 5, 10, 15 years ago, you go, like, oh, I really like this character in this, like this character's voice, or I go, I'm going to meet this person out of this show at a convention or something. Whereas now, especially in the last 5 years, especially since I think like Baldur's Gate 3 and Expedition 33 and things like that, you don't so much go, oh, I'm going to meet Monoco. You go, I'm going to meet Rich Keeble, or I'm not going to meet Shadowheart, I'm going to meet Jennifer English. Like, I think the names are becoming more established. I think definitely since Entertainment Weekly did that thing last year about the Pixel Pack and like kind of this new generation of talent. And I just wanted to know from your perspective, have you seen a bit of a shift of people recognising you more for who you are rather than your work, and whether you can comment on that at all?
Yeah, well, it's difficult from my own perspective because I've had my moments of being recognised,
right? Of course,
sort of on and off, and it's always been strange. Because I also had Good Omens come out after Gollum. I had Good Omens come out, and I did do a convention on that and meet some fans, and I started to sort of really lean into that fandom, and that was nice. So I think when people started recognising me for this game, it wasn't the first time, I suppose, but certainly on this scale I'd never had before. But I think I feel too that Baldur's Gate opened a door in terms of sort of recognising who the actors are. And I feel like we've opened that door a little bit more.
Agreed.
And it feels like you do now get actors sort of announced in things in a way that you didn't a few years ago. I mean, I did a convention with Doug Cockle back in March, and we were on the plane together, and we were chatting, and he was saying that when The Witcher first came out, no one really cared who he was. He certainly wasn't doing conventions. Whereas fast forward to now, then he's in great demand and is always doing very well at these things. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think, because it's funny when you look back on it and you talk to the actors involved, I think when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, I think it was Neil who sort of decided to sort of push them a bit and just think, well, this is the time we should sort of probably push ourselves a little bit. Whereas Kepler, who published Expedition, they sort of did that for us. They pushed us all. But, obviously we had Charlie Cox and Andy Serkis in the game. That wasn't, random. Obviously putting those two in the game. That was obviously, there was some marketing decision behind there. As well as obviously they're amazing. But, obviously they were, that's useful. And obviously, having Ben and Jen in the game is pretty useful as well. So I think, there was always this idea to kind of push us. And I mean, I was up on stage at the press junket that we did before the game had come out. But of course, then nobody really knew who I was.
Yeah.
I think also we've also learned how to speak, man. I think we've all been leaning into it so much as well that I think that sort of, our profiles have all sort of raised, and, because most of us have been lucky that we're sort of continuing to work and get more work off the back of it, our profiles have risen in a way that they probably wouldn't have done a few years ago. Yeah. Which is certainly great for us, because, as I said earlier, I've worked a lot more since the game has come out as well, because, people have asked me to be in things, partly because they know who I am, and partly because, I don't know, they'll know that me being in it maybe is it's mutually beneficial from a marketing point of view. I don't know. And that you'll do a good job. Let's focus on that. I know maybe you won't say it, but you will do a good job. Well, hopefully. But like Marathon, which isn't the sort of game that you would think would be a very sort of voice actory focused game. Yeah. I mean, they made a big deal about having a load of us in it. Yeah. Like, you got me, Ben and Jen. And that was part
Tracy
of it. Tracy Wiles. Yeah.
That, like, when you were announced, and again, it's I think in some way it's subconscious, and I wonder if people listening to this might realise it and hadn't thought about it before, but especially when you three were announced, I was like, oh yeah, it's Ben, Jen and Rich. I didn't for any second go, oh, it's Verso, Mael and Monoco. That didn't even cross my mind. I was like, oh, it's the talent. And it's funny, you said that about the Expedition 33 cast trailer, the cast trailer was the first I'd heard of the game, and I saw Charlie Cox, Andy Serkis, and Jennifer English, and not even any difference between the three of them. Went, those three names are in it. That's it. I'm playing it. And it was that. It's things like that. If you go, okay, these are like what would have been very, very different, and often kind of reduced to the voice actor label, now are becoming more well known by name and by what they've done. So you don't just refer to them as this character from this game. You go, oh, it's this person, this actor. And I just think it's cool to see you getting that level of recognition that previously has been reserved for like TV and film stars, but now feels like it's becoming a bit more universal, which I think is lovely to say.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, and it means, it's great for us, but it also means, I don't know, we have this bigger connection with the fandom, I think, as well. It's really nice, and people do sort of follow you around a bit. I mean, this is something I'm sort of getting used to, but I remember Ben and Jen doing interviews.
Yeah.
For Expedition, they were saying, "Oh yes, I mean, we said yes to this because of X, Y, Z, and we choose our projects carefully." And of course, I'm sat there thinking,
"You choose?
If they offer it to me, I say yes." That's how I choose a project.
You guys are getting paid thing.
But I see where they're coming from, because now I'll post that I'm in something, and someone will go, "Oh, well, I'm going to buy this game because you're in it." And I'm thinking, "Oh shit, okay." Well, I don't know how. Yeah, okay, great, thank you. And I guess it sort of, there's a bit of responsibility there, perhaps. But no, it's great. It's great. I love it, and I continue. I obviously post a lot on social media, and I sort of like leaning into it, as I say. It's really fun, and especially with this AI thing, I mean, I don't think it's going to replace anyone, because everyone I know seems to just hate it.
Yeah.
But, again, it helps, I think, to put some human faces to the voices. And, hopefully they won't get rid of us for some shit AI clone.
Yeah, they better not. That's a whole other thing. Ugh. Right, well, I do want to obviously, like I say, get some audience questions. Just to finish off on my front, just to kind of throw in the mic to you to round off with what I'm asking. Are there any particular roles, either A, that people may not have heard you in that you've done recently you'd like to shine a light on, or looking forward, things that are coming out from you people can expect from you? What's next, or what's new for Rich Keeble?
Well, there is a game that was announced recently, and they said they were going to announce me, but they haven't yet.
Ooh.
So maybe I won't say what that is, just in case. But I mean, if people follow me on social media, I will certainly be posting it on there.
Okay.
I've got, I'm lucky that I've got, there's some other games coming out at some point that I'm in. Games that, are certainly, that you'd be aware of. That's probably about it, I think. I mean, if you're a Good Omens fan, you've probably already watched it, the finale.
I know, I barely touched on that. I mean, we've got the advantage, for those of you watching just when this it comes out, there's going to be a panel at a Warsaw convention next month that I'll be hosting with you and Tim for Good Omens, so we'll get a chance to dive into it then.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to that, because I adore Good Omens as well. We do have one audience question for Good Omens. I'll make sure to include that, so we have some chat, because I'm realising we didn't really touch on it. But yeah, so, and then obviously Rival Season 2 Part 2 as well.
That is
November, I think.
Yes, they've said November. I don't know whether that'll all drop at once or whether they'll stagger it. But yeah, there's some really fun stuff in the second half. Yeah, we spent a week in a location where there was just crazy stuff going on, which I don't want to say any of it at the moment. But we're literally, like, every day there was like, oh, we got a horse in here now. There would be there was some crazy stuff. And they've teased some of it in the new trailer, I think. But I'd say Rivals Part 2 is worth a watch. I pop up here and there, but don't worry about me. Just enjoy the show.
Enjoy both. Enjoy the show and you. That's
good.
The best way to do it. Best way. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Lisa, for answering my questions. It means a very great deal. So we're going to get into some audience stuff real quick and see what people have been asking you.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one we're going to go with, we'll start with, let's go for a serious one. Let's go for a big one. This is a pressuring question. Lunarin wants to know, what's your choice for the Expedition 33 ending? Spoilers incoming if you've not played it, but what would you choose?
Well, I mean, they've both got their moments, haven't they? I mean, I've always had because I don't like living in the real world, and I don't want to kill all my friends in my imaginary world. I've always had a soft spot for my L's ending because, that's fine, isn't it? What could possibly go wrong?
Absolutely.
I have to be careful what I say because I did, people do take me at face value and sort of criticise that because, I think most people think that Versos is probably the correct ending with dealing with things in the real world. I don't want to be in the real world. Look what I do for a living. I now say that I think if you've watched the Carbo or Carbot animations,
yes,
I would say that perhaps the Francois ending.
I should have seen that coming. I should have seen that coming from you. Fair play. I will say you're in good company. I do think probably Versa might be the more healthy way. Yeah, sure, but I will always choose the Milo ending. I will always choose it. Nothing will stop me from that. And that's what's funny because the amount of people online I've seen go, I had to spend 20 minutes thinking about this. When the choice came up, I went, I'm not killing my L. Done. That was it. I didn't think it. I honestly didn't. And I played both endings and went, okay, I can see it, but I still stand strong in my choice, I think, personally. Ren Respawn wants to ask, and I know you said you're not really playing them much nowadays, but did you grow up at all playing any video games? And if so, were there any influential ones to you?
I did, yeah. So at the age I am, I used to play games in the 80s on a BBC Micro.
Right.
Which was the computer that all the schools had at the time. And before that, I actually had an Acorn Electron, which, you would load games in on a tape. And I upgraded to this BBC Micro, which had 5.25-inch discs on it, which is very antiquated now. But they're literally these floppy kind of discs that you had to be very careful you didn't accidentally destroy. And I used to play loads of games on that. I used to play. Well, I've said this before, but there's a game called Chucky Egg, which I absolutely loved. It's like this platform thing. It's like you're a little yellow farm or whatever you are, and you're going around picking up eggs while there's ladders and stuff.
Right.
And you're avoiding these strange birds that kill you. And the playability of that game is just phenomenal because you can jump. It's just so quick. You can fall and grab onto things and jump around, and you can really. It just becomes sort of second nature. And I used to play that game so much, and I even downloaded an emulator so I could play it on my laptop. And it's just the same. They've even got the screen flicker. It's just phenomenal. So I always think about that game because that is just such a playable game. And of course, in those days, you would then get cracks of it. People would give here's an unofficial Chucky Egg 2, or here's some extra levels that you can just sort of load in. And I spent a lot of time because I'm an only child, and my dad died when I was really young, and my mum has a personality disorder, so I sort of spent a lot of time just sort of on my own playing games, and that was one of them, along with a load of other 8-bit games like Arcadians or Codename Droid, I think it was, various other games that I would get on disc, and of course you could copy them quite easily, that sort of thing. But then also, I'm a big fan of Tekken, because I played that when I was in my early 20s, and I was in a flat share with some friends of mine. One of my friends had a PS2, and we used to play Tekken Tag all the time. I became a bit obsessed with it. I used to play as there's a bear, isn't there, Panda?
Yes.
And you can just get it to sort of just do this sort of strange sort of dancing thing. And I would just obsessively... someone's trying to fight me and I'm just getting the panda to do that. It was just really fun. So, yeah.
Didn't think I'd see you dancing in the interview, so I'm glad we got that out of you. That's good. That's good.
There you go. So, yeah, Chucky Egg and Tekken are about, sort of almost 20 years apart, I think. But those are two games that always stick in my head when I get asked that question.
Fair enough. Good choices, I would say. Very good. Very, very nice, diverse choices at the very least.
Thank you.
Next one I'd say then, Game with Becca wants to know, are there any dream film, TV or video game projects you'd like to do in the future, if asked?
I mean, I'm happy to do anything, as we discussed. But I mean, I think on camera, I'd like to do like a Lord of the Rings or a Game of Thrones type sort of fantasy sort of show. I'd like to play some sort of villainous, I don't know, maybe even a villainous king or something. I guess I'm old enough to do that now. Some of that would be fun. And in games, I'd quite like to try and get myself into Fortnite, actually, now that I see that Ben and Maggie and people
Maggie's
are doing
just been
that.
announced to be playing, DJ QJ, yeah.
But I'd love to be in a Resident Evil, actually, I think.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So, something like that.
That's seen some big as well. That's another one that I think that's got a lot more kind of like cast member appreciation. As well. It's another one that's been doing quite well there with Nick and Angela both being really well praised for their performances, and Jane Perry, of course, as well.
Yeah, well, of course, I've met all of those that you name, and they're all lovely people. And actually, Tony from Rivals is in the new Resident Evil. I've forgotten the name. He's like the sort of the main antagonist in that new one. The names escape me, but yeah.
Why is it escaping me as well? This is okay. I'm going to move on to something, embarrass myself more than I already have. Okay, let's get a bit of a Good Omens chat in there. Thank you to Yoko Hamama for submitting some questions to make up for my lack there. Who's got two questions actually for you. So in Good Omens, for clarity, you're in both Good Omens 2 and 3 as the character of Mr. Arnold. The first question is, your character Mr. Arnold was meant to represent David Arnold himself, the composer. Did you get to talk to the real David Arnold to discuss what kind of personalities your Mr. Arnold should have?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't get to talk to him beforehand. I met him afterwards.
Okay.
I've met him. I met David at a screening for Good Omens 2,
okay.
and I bumped into him again at probably the table read for the finale.
Okay.
He was at BAFTA, of course, and I didn't get to actually see him at BAFTA. But no, before, when I was auditioning for it, I didn't know that, of course. It was just, I didn't put two and two together, and they didn't tell me. It was just Mr. Arnold, the music shop owner. So I remember I just did a tape for it. Oh, well, actually, a big part of it was they wanted someone who could play the piano or an instrument of some sort, which I do. When I was very rusty at the time, but so I filmed myself playing the piano and the drums as well for some reason. I think I was just trying to prove that I was musical. But,
I was going to say, because he didn't play drums in the show, did he?
No, I think, because they said piano or another instrument, and I just thought, well, okay, let's just show them some stuff. I didn't, because I play the guitar as well, but I didn't bother with that. I just thought, well, let's not come across as a dick, trying to show off. I'll just do piano and drums. And they liked it, so they booked it. Although I did do two quite different characterizations, I seem to remember. I think I did one when he was just a bit of an arsehole, and I did one where he was a bit more sort of nervous and subservient. And I think I sort of found a sweet spot between the two, I think, when I did it.
As a Doctor Who fan.
Doctor. Yeah, I don't think I knew that at the time. Oh well, I think I did do the scene when they were talking about the Doctor Who annual.
Yeah,
so I think it was like there was no 1964 Doctor Who annual. But I didn't get to talk to David beforehand. No, that was a kind of. I think it was when I was on set and Douglas said, "Oh, he's named after David Arnold, the composer." I was like, "Oh,
that makes sense." Yeah, gotcha. Okay. And then the other question was, what was it like watching David Tennant and Michael Sheen as Ace and Anthony having their, spoilers for the ending of Good Omens 3. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Having their first date at the pub, because, of course, you're in there with quite a few other different Good Omens characters right at the end, which is a nice little touch.
Yeah.
What was it like being a part of that final kind of moment?
That was really nice. Yeah, that was really nice. It's funny watching them come out with their different wigs on and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice. I don't remember whether that was the last thing I shot. I suppose it probably could have been, because everyone was in that scene, weren't they? Various people that I've sort of known from series 2, and then other people that had joined this time. It was it was nice having people back there, and of course they sat me with Donna, who's a friend of mine. We were just sort of making up shit just to be talking about stuff in the background. I can't remember what we were saying. I think she was deliberately trying to make me laugh by coming up with more and more outlandish things. It was a nice vibe, and we knew they were doing the kind of the push into the Terry Pratchett painting and sort of things, and it was just a really nice vibe, I suppose, because obviously there was all the sort of the stuff surrounding it, and the fact that it was cancelled and had been brought back in this sort of abridged form. I think everyone was just happy to be there and to be doing something.
Exactly.
I know not everyone has enjoyed the way it's ended up, but I think a lot of people have been grateful that there is something.
I thought, especially considering the constraints it had, I thought we did an excellent job of tying it together in the time they had, especially considering it's normally 6 episodes a piece. To whack it down to 90 minutes and for it to still come out, I think, quite as strong as it did. Definitely plot lines got lost. I know someone pointed out that, can't remember his name, which is annoying me, but the one who plays Adam in series 1 was there again in the final series in the pub, which was such a lovely touch. I didn't even realise at first because he's aged up so much since the first series. But I know there's been talk that he was meant to have a bigger role in season 3 and some bits like that. So it is definitely a shame. It absolutely is. But I think it still managed to make a pretty good story to finish up with there. I really quite enjoyed it.
I think they did well, yeah. And I think everyone's happy with it. I mean, as much as you can be. I think they did a great job, and it was nice that it exists. The budget was obviously slashed, and I think it still looks good. I think they did well. It was just nice to be a part of it, and I've just got really nice memories of doing it. And then I think when we wrapped on that as well, that must have been my last day, because I remember at that point, I think David Tennant said to me, "Oh, see you in Rutcher," and I was like, at that point, I hadn't actually had the call that I was definitely coming back for series 2 of Rivals.
Right.
And I was like, "Well, I hope so." And he said, "Oh, you'll be there, won't you?" I was just like, "Well, I hope so. I haven't had the call yet."
There you go. He looks forward to the gallery scenes because he knows you'll be there.
Yeah, sucking up to him like the sycophant that I am, smoking away.
I do the same. You probably haven't seen this. There's an infamous clip. I was on Andendeck's Limitless Win a few years ago, and he sent a message in for me and my mum wishing us luck. He ate a cake that had my face on it. So don't worry about saying that you'll be sucking up to him. I would suck up to him far more than you will, but that we can have a competition, believe me. But no, it definitely, be it wouldn't be the same in the gallery if any of the characters weren't there. Never mind just you specifically, but it's that collection of people together. So I can't blame him for assuming you'd be there, because it felt safe to say you would have been. It would have been strange if you weren't.
It's just, you never know. It's like me and a few other actors who were sort of, we think maybe dispensable. We were just a bit worried that they would. I mean, obviously, series 2, picks up immediately after series 1.
Exactly.
But you could just imagine, I think it was me and Selena who plays Dame Enid. We both kind of imagined there could be a scenario where it's just like, you're not coming in today, Brian. Okay. Or get
I suppose
sacked off camera. Do you know what I mean? We just thought, but luckily it didn't happen. We'll see what happens in season 3.
Well, no, you'll be back. I'll take David's role here. We'll see you in Rutcher again for series 3. Yeah.
Well, hopefully. I mean, if you haven't, I mean, obviously we don't know. Yeah, we don't know how it ends, do we? Series 2. So, I mean, I think
we don't know, do we?
Collective we. So, I mean, there's, I think there's a strong, I could come back in series 3, but it just depends on what direction it goes in.
Good stuff. Let's go to a couple more just to finish off then. So let's have a more lighthearted one. Let's go with Brabs8. He wants to ask, if you were a dateable object in the game Date Everything, what object would you choose to be? I trust you're familiar with Date Everything as a game.
Well, vaguely, to be honest.
So, for your sake and for everyone else, the idea is basically just there are a whole range of household objects that you can flirt and or date with, all of which are voiced by quite a lot of very popular actors. Like Ben Starr, I think, plays a door, I'm pretty sure, who's called Dorian, which, of course. So if you were to pick a household object that you could voice, what would your choice be, Rich?
Well, in terms of household objects, I am a big fan of my bed.
That's a hell of a one to pick for a game like that.
Well, I mean, not in a, purely from the situation I just like sleeping.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I know. But I think I probably agree with you on that one, to be honest. That's a very good choice.
Fairly innocent one. But it's something I really look forward to getting into my bed. So it's probably my favourite household object.
He's just like me.
And I don't want to get out of it.
I normally work evenings. I had to get up early for this. So I'm with you on that. Like, I am a late sleeper. I am very much a late sleeper. So I'm totally with you there. 100%.
Yeah, well, I used to be. Since I had kids, I'm now an early riser. But it's.
I can imagine that would change things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's 2 things I really like. One is sitting down. The other one is sleeping.
And that's how you've won
maybe a
everyone over
chair.
if you hadn't already. Okay. Skylar Wig, we'll go with her question next. Of all the characters that you've played, which did you find the most challenging yet rewarding?
Oh, interesting. Challenging yet rewarding. I don't know, because I mean, Monoco is probably the most rewarding so far because of for many reasons that we've talked about. But Two-Face is pretty challenging, I think, and rewarding.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty pleased how Two-Face came out because, as we discussed, I was trying to pull in various different influences and put it through the filter for Lego. So, yeah, I think the Two-Face came out pretty well. I think in terms of, it's based on Tommy Lee Jones, but I didn't want to do Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of grit him up with the other influences that we discussed, but it is still a Lego game. I think we got the balance pretty well there. So I guess, that in terms of challenging yet rewarding, maybe Two-Face.
Okay. Yeah.
Because obviously that's only just come out. It's sort of quite dominant in my mind.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. And I tell you what, let's finish with a nice little bit of a silly one. Chariot Rabbit Loz wants to know: are you a little spoon in real life?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Little spoon, come over here and let's snuggle.
What better way to end it? That's perfect. There you go. I can't ask anything else now because it won't have a better ending than that. Rich, thank you so very, very much for coming on. It's been an absolute genuine pleasure. I'm really glad we got to do this.
It's been fun. Thank you.
It's our absolute honour, genuinely. So if people want to see more from you, I know you already mentioned your Instagram, but where can you be found if people want to follow you, assuming they're not already, of course?
What? They're not already?
I know. Disgraceful.
I probably post mainly on Instagram and probably a bit of TikTok, bizarrely. But yeah, I'm on Instagram just as Rich Keeble and TikTok as Rich Keeble and Twitter and Blue Sky as well, even though I don't post on those that much. But, Instagram's where I'm mainly at, I suppose.
There you go.
If you'd like to follow me and see what else is happening.
And you all need to if you're not already. So there you go. There's your call to action.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rich.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's it. That's done me now. That's made me very happy. Thank you very much. Honestly, been an absolute pleasure. And thank you everyone at home for watching. If you aren't already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because there'll be hopefully some other big interviews coming very, very soon. But make sure that you have liked the video if you haven't already and comment down below who you'd like to see next as an interview. But that'll do it from both of us. So thank you very much, Rich. Absolute pleasure. And I'll hopefully see you again soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Thanks, Troy.
Absolute pleasure.